Ants, all things football, every Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. on Hear It Now. We are joined by one of the great tight ends, and we're going to ask, my first question before I turn it back to Keith is, tight ends, how are you different than a wide receiver? You have to block a lot, but how does one, you say the position picks you, how does one become a tight end, and what does a tight end really do?
Well, you have to understand, wide receivers, I mean, they split out and they run routes against, small defensive backs. That's all they do. If they ever have to come in and kind of, even think about blocking a linebacker or defensive end, it's going to be a rough day. They're just not doing it. Tight ends, man, listen, you're in the backfield, you're off the line, you're on the line. Bottom line is you're dealing with 300-pound guys, not every play, but you're talking about probably 70% of your plays, you're going to be dealing with somebody that's at least 250 to 300 pounds, which wide receivers don't ever do that.
No, that would never happen. They've been using wide receiver to do a crack back on a linebacker or something, a strong safety or something of that nature.
But you have to remember, Keith, you can't do crack backs anymore, bro.
That's right. The rules have changed.
So, back in the day, you're right. The wide receivers were like, they love that one play where their job is to come in motion or come from the outside in. On the snap, they go, but that's because they know they're not the guy's gonna be caught off guard. But nowadays, if you do that, you're thrown out the NFL and you're fine. So they can't do it anyway.
Well, yeah, they put some rules in there to try to protect these guys out there now.
Now, your brother was a tight end too, so your whole family became tight ends.
Well, we're big guys. I mean, my brother's 6'4", 260. I'm 6'4", 260. My son is 6'3", 245. I mean, we're just not small guys. So like I said, at the end of the day, I always told my son, if you want to be successful, be smart, And like I said, there's a guy named Ricky Seals-Jones who plays in the NFL right now for the Cleveland Browns, I believe. He was a wide receiver at Texas A&M. And my son's tight end coach at Alabama his last year was a guy named Jeff Banks, who Jeff Banks was the coach at A&M before he came to Alabama. And he told Ricky Seals, hey, Ricky, you're 6'5", 260. You should be a tight end. Ricky's like, nope, I want to be a wide receiver. So he played wide receiver. He ended up coming out of college undrafted. The Arizona Cardinals picked him up, and guess what they did? They moved him to tight end. So now Ricky Seals-Jones is a tight end in the NFL. Had Ricky Seals-Jones, been smarter, in my opinion, and said, you know what, I know I want to be a wide receiver, but I'm 6'4", 6'5", 260. I'm probably going to be a tight end. If he had done that, there's a good chance Ricky Seals-Jones would have got drafted and would still be a tight end, but he would have recognized that career as a tight end sooner than having to be forced to be a tight end by the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when I came in the NFL, I was a known linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Go sideline to sideline, just like Junior Seau. And when I got to Tampa, they put me at defensive end, which really limited my ability because I was used to going sideline to sideline, making plays all over the field to utilize my speed. But they convinced me that hitting that quarterback was more gratifying and from the blind side than anything.
Oh!
There you go.
Yeah.
Does it really hurt the quarterback more when they don't feel the hit coming?
Oh yeah, I think it does. That's one time you can hit somebody from the blind side, and it's legal.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, I got a question I want to ask you. I know why I went to the University of Alabama. Well, what was it that caused you and your son to turn that way, and what was said to get him to go to the University of Alabama?
Well, it's really funny. My son actually verbally committed. We all verbally commit places, and he verbally committed to Texas A&M early in the process, liked the school, liked the program, liked the coach. It's kind of funny. They had a couple quarterbacks there, Kyle Allen and Kyler Murray. They were both quarterbacks at A&M at the same time. And literally at the exact same time, going into my son's senior year, the two of them transferred. One transferred to Houston, one transferred, of course, to Oklahoma. And they fired the offensive coordinator. My son was like, there's a little turmoil going on here. Let me reevaluate this. And I was very proud of him for that. And we ended up taking a look at he went to a few other schools, and of course Alabama was just they were just beating down his door, and they beat his door down continuously, which was pretty amazing because Notre Dame had no interest. And we took the visit there after they won the national championship, and believe me, we didn't go there because of the national championship at all. We took the visit there, my son, his mom, and myself, and we literally left that place and said, if we don't encourage our son to go to Alabama based off of everything they said they're going to do for him, we are bad parents. It was that overwhelming. Right. It was when I say overwhelming, it was overwhelming. Just what the support they give to your kids, the program, I'm telling you, it was literally a no-brainer, Keith.
I know.
And I tell you what, when we went there after my son did enroll, we said they undersold the program. That's how crazy it was.
Wow.
And I'm and not because he played 3 national championships. I'm telling you because they made sure my son went to school, got his grades.
Yes.
He was anything he needed. If he needed something, literally, I didn't have to worry about anything. When you have my son went to college at 17 years old. He didn't turn 18 until August. We dropped him off at Alabama in June. He was still 17 years old. So when you drop your 17-year-old child off at school and you have nothing to worry about, man, there's nothing better in life. It's amazing.
Man, I started going to the University of Alabama in the 10th grade, and I'll tell you something. Bear Bryant, man, he said, he looked forward to me coming to the University of Alabama. I was a kid. That stuck with me so long, man. And when you go to the University of Alabama, you're Bama for life. Your whole family become Bama. And it's like an organization. This is all.
Welcome back. Hear it now. All things football with the best Buccaneer player of all time, except for Leroy Selman. Wait, was Derek Brooks a linebacker too?
Oh yeah, man. Leroy Selman. He used to come to the games, man, and talk to me on the sideline.
So you're in the top 3 defensive players of all time for the Bucs. Okay.
McCants, hey, all that speed you got, man, make them they sweating. They're sweating. Keep coming around the corner.
Now Leroy was a very gentle giant. But we are joined by another giant, and Irv Smith, who seems to have a lot of IQ for football, the complexities of football. Why are you not the head coach of at least like Texas A&M or Notre Dame?
Well, the honest man, when I got out of football, like I said, I became a dad pretty quickly. I was raising my son, and coaches put a lot of time in. At the end of the day, I just couldn't do that. It was either spend time with my son or travel the world coaching football, and I made the decision very early. It was going to be all about my son, and I'm very glad I did it.
Well, what about now? He's playing though. No desire to. So you've had enough football in your life.
Well, once again, I love following him. I mean, I realized real early, man. Football coaches, man, they get it in. Keep it tell you, football coaches put in way more. They put in way more time than players. I mean, if you think a player puts in time, a player doesn't put in any kind of time that a coach puts in. And so with that being the case, I just never had that desire to be a full-time coach. I enjoy it. Of course, I follow the game. I've certainly followed with my son playing, but I'd rather follow it and just enjoy it than to have to, be a coach and do all those hours and have all the commitment. And the older I get, the more freedom I want. So at this point, I'm definitely not trying to be a coach. I'm trying to enjoy my life, travel the world, watch my son play ball, and just enjoy the moment.
Okay, Eric, I got a question that a friend of mine want to hear you answer. He's wondering, how was it playing with a stacked team like on the 49ers, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Terrell Owens? How was it like playing with those guys? I know I was like playing against them because Jerry Rice was the only person that ever scored them and won the game. But how was it like playing with them guys?
I'm gonna say, Keith. People ask me all the time. I played 7 years, 5 years with the Saints, and years of Niners, years of Browns. People ask me all the time, like, what was your favorite team to play on, your favorite year? I say, listen, man, it goes hands down. Playing with, as you said, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Garrison Hurst, J.J. Stokes. I mean, when I say loaded, I mean, that's on the offense. You forget about the defense. We had Burton Hanks, Ken Norton Jr., Bryant Young, Chris Donovan. I mean, when I say that we were stacked, there's no reason we shouldn't have won a Super Bowl that year. There's reasons why we did, but at the end of the day, when I tell you, man, it couldn't have been a more, God bless me to play with those kind of guys and to have that kind of, season. It was such a fun environment to be in. And for me, that was truly the highlight of my career.
I feel the same way with the Houston Oilers. One game from the Super Bowl, Buddy Ryan with William Fuller, Sean Jones, Lamar Lathan, Wilbert Marshall. We had a defense that was on the 46 that just couldn't hold nobody. And I'll tell you what, man, playing with those guys is like, that was my highlight of my career. And
right.
One game away from the Super Bowl. That was
wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
Who was the head coach of the 49ers when you were there?
That was Steve Mariucci. Mooch, as they called him.
Yeah.
Oh, so he wasn't a long.
Mariucci.
I thought Steve Walsh was the coach back then too, right?
Well, like I said, when I played, it was Mariucci. He was the coach. I was only there 1 year, but that was Mariucci.
Did he have a short tenure?
Yeah, he wasn't there long. You know, the problem with Mooch was he was I call him a people pleaser. Yeah. You know, he did not. You know, when you have the Steve Youngs, Jerry Rice, and Terrell Owens, you have no excuse for not winning the Super Bowl. I mean, when I say no excuse,
you got that right.
No excuse. I mean, like literally, no excuse. So when you don't win the Super Bowl, and you know, God bless him, but he was a people pleaser that year. He played people he wanted to play versus the people he should have played.
Right.
And we played the Falcons in the game before. You know, Keith was 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Yeah. We were 2 games away. We lost to the Falcons. How would a team like that lose to the Falcons 10-7?
I know it.
Wow.
Oh my God.
You know, so a lot of people ask, "Where is the Super Bowl rigged or some of the playoffs ain't rigged?" As a player, I would say not really, but then you look at it and you're like, you got to load a team like this, and then you going to lose. Sometimes you got to be the play calling or something like that. You can't put it all on the players.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have your doubts about it sometimes.
Now you were number 20. Did you know on draft day who was going to pick you, or was there any anticipation, or was everything already done?
Draft most nerve-wracking day of your entire life. Before draft and after, there's not a more nerve-wracking day that ever happens. I was at the draft. Drew Bledsoe was the first pick. You know, guys can go to the draft or not. So Drew was there. My buddy Willie Rofe was there. He was the 8th pick. You know, list goes on. I was believe it or not, of all the guys that went to the draft that year, like the players that were there, I was the last player taken that was at the draft. So when I tell you it was
so you were actually in the room when they were picking the numbers.
Yeah, I was in New York. You know what I'm saying? I was there. You know, I was in the draft. I was up on the stage when they called me at 2020. But I was the last guy there. You know, Marvin Jones was there. I mean, the list goes on. But I was the last guy that was there. So when you're talking about being in the green room and you're the last guy in the green room, you know, and back then there was only 28 teams. It wasn't 36 teams.
Yeah,
so there was 28 teams. So when I was the 20th pick, there was only 8 picks left. So, you know, it's nerve-wracking. You have no clue, and I didn't have a clue that the Saints were going to pick. Matter of fact, Saints picked Willie Rofe 8th. So they were off the board, but they traded. They had another pick. So that's what allowed me to be picked because they had 2 picks that year. So once again, you know, I definitely did not know I was going to be drafted by them. And, you know, believe me, nothing's rigged. Nothing's told to us ahead of time. You know, you sit there and you wait, and it is what it is. Funny thing about it for my son, the first day of the draft, you know, he was hoping to go first round, and we had a draft party in New Orleans, and he wore a purple suit and didn't get drafted first day. Second day, we dressed down, had some fun, and he gets drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. And what's their colors? Purple.
There you go.
Crazy.
There you go.
Did you enjoy playing for the Saints? Did you get involved in New Orleans?
Oh, I was the NFL Player of the Year, Man of the Year in New Orleans a couple times. I did a lot of community events. To this day, that's why it was funny because my son was born there. We raised him in Arizona. He moved back to New Orleans his his freshman year in high school with his mom, and I spent the next 4 years basically living. I mean, I was still living in Phoenix where I live, but I was in New Orleans every single week for his games and events and things. And so I reconnected with a lot of my friends and a lot of the community that I had known. Me and Pat Swilling, my son played basketball on Pat Swilling's team. He went to school with his son, his boys. So I really connected back with New Orleans. I love New Orleans. Lots of friends there, people that I can consider family, and great city. Great city. And my favorite thing to do is to eat, and the food is amazing. So when I go back, it's like I'm like a giddy kid because I'm like, where am I going to eat today? And I know all the spots because I live there. So it's like I'm just going back there, going to my spots.
Hey, Herb, you mentioned Pat Swilling. I tell you what, once you drop a dime on him and tell him to give us a call, love to have him on the show.
Oh yeah, yeah. I will let him know because Pat's my guy.
Yeah,
and I'll let him know that I'm on the show.
Oh yeah, I grew up watching that guy, man. Yeah, I was in high school watching Pat Swilling.
Yes, sir. Great guy, great man to this day, doing big things in the world. Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. That's awesome. Okay, we got a couple more questions, and one of the questions I want to ask you is,
while you're getting ready, as a proud father, do you just, and does your son's mother, do you cringe when he gets tackled, when he gets a pass? I mean, or what's that feeling?
Well, you know, when he catches the ball, it's like I when I watch the game, the only thing I'm really watching when he's on the field, like I'm literally watching him, like I'm not watching anything else. So
as every move.
I'm talking about every move. So that's it. So when he catches the ball, literally, I'm on my feet. Matter of fact, usually I'm on my feet before he catches it because when I watch him, I can tell when he's about to get open and when the ball might be coming to him. So by the time he catches it, I'm on my feet like him. So, yeah I mean,
that's
I'm
really a ball player.
That's right. So I just tell those instincts over as I'm watching him play.
Yeah, no, instincts of a ball player. Don, do you ever go and correct him or call something out where, okay, maybe he slipped on a play or he missed the block or he did something of that nature? You ever correct him or bring it to attention?
Never. The only thing I tell him is how good he's doing and how great he continue to do is good he's doing because we already know Keith as a player.
On that level how it is.
You're going to play 70 snaps maybe in a game if you play every snap. And you're going to have some ones where you got them and some games that are going to get you.
That's right, because they get paid like you get paid to play.
That's right.
So you got to understand it's the NFL.
So I just tell him every time he plays, man, he did great. The plays are great. He might say to me, yeah, Dad, well, he actually might bring the play up or the plays that he messed up on. I'm like, hey, man, that's all good. You still did great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now that's a great parent because I see some of these parents in high school and in college. They're so tough on the children and they push them so hard that they lose sight of how to enjoy the game and forget that we playing a man's game, a kid's game, and getting paid for it.
That's right. Well, you know the thing about it, Keith. You know you don't have to push great players anyway. They push themselves. So. I can honestly say I've never had to push him. All I've had to do is just support him. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody climbing up a fence and you just kind of like brace them so they can climb up the fence. All I got to do is support him because he loves it. I tell people all the time, I like football. My son loves football. There's a reason why he's going to be, in my opinion, one of the best tight ends that ever played the game because he loves it. I liked it. If I loved it, I'd have had a much better career, but it was what it was. But my son loves it. And it definitely shows, and he's definitely going to do well, I believe.
That's right. He's going to do exceptionally well because he had that kind of love for it. And they said when you retire, the next best thing is coaching because that's the closest you can get to it. So, and I took a different path because I have a different taste in my mouth towards the NFL. I still have love and passion for the game because it's my life. But some of the things I didn't agree with that happened, and I'd step away from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I don't mind taking a guy like the Lindsey boy from out of Alabama that went to South Carolina. I took these two kids, man. I saw the potential that they have. I would take a kid like once a year or something like that, and work with one or two kids who had the potential to go to college and possibly go to pros, like Jamarcus Russell. I was like, I know his father. We played basketball together, and I took him to the first NFL camp. This guy was that's it. And my thing with Jamarcus Russell, this kid was so talented that sometimes you become uncoachable. And when you got a player like that that's so talented that they're not coachable, it's very difficult to deal with them because it's like a bad apple spoil the whole barrel, and then it just trickles down to your teammates and stuff like that, and you get in bitter wars. I talked to Rex Ryan about this kid, man, and they asked me to reach out and help him and stuff. So it's very interesting. That's a very interesting individual, very talented.
We're going to take a quick break in just a second. And one of the things we want to come back is are you still doing radio? So if you still have a radio show, we want you to plug that and any social media sign-ins that you can plug. Or in fact, you can tell us what's your Twitter. Do you have a Twitter handle?
My Twitter is BigTime8284. My Instagram's the same, BigTime8284.
Big Time
82 is my NFL number. 84 is my college number.
We're going to take a quick break and be back to finish up the hour with Irv Smith, one of the great tight ends of all time. Barry Edwards with Keith McCants for All Things Football, with one of the great tight ends, if not one of the greatest of all time, Irv Smith. And I'm going to ask that before I turn it back, because I know Keith wanted to ask about, you have some company, some traveling sports company or whatever. We want to get that. But who is, besides you, the greatest tight end of all time? Irv? Did I lose Irv? Irv? I lost Irv. Well, we're going to have to talk without him then. So, Keith, who is the greatest tight end of all time?
Kevin Winslow was one of the greatest tight ends I've seen in a long time.
Now, who did he play for?
He played for the Vikings, and his son also played for the Vikings, I think. Kevin Winslow Jr.
You know, it's interesting. The more athletes we get on the show, that they kind of like, we've had some that the linebackers produce linebackers, the ends produce ends, the tight ends produce tight ends. Is it because you're physically the same, or just that's kind of...
Well, if any way possible that your body structure is similar to your father's, 9 times out of 10 it's going to simulate the same position.
We have Irv back. Thank you, Irv. We were just talking about, other than you, who was the greatest tight end of all time. Mike Ditka was a tight end, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm not a Mike Ditka fan though. Mike Ditka is probably he is the reason why I left the Saints. When I was there with the Saints, he was my last year. It was his first year there, and God bless him. He just wasn't. He was a good coach maybe for the '80s, but when the '90s came, it was like he was a fish out of water. He didn't know how to relate and deal with the players, and he caused a lot of turmoil inside the organization. I actually left. I took less money to go play with the Niners than to stay with the Saints. And I loved New Orleans. I wanted to stay there, but I could not deal with him. So, unfortunately, it was just a tough situation. He old school tight end, but, you got some Mark Baveros out there, and, of course, you got Gronkowski that just killed it. And there was a lot of great tight ends. I mean, the Kellen Winslows, there's so many guys that played the position, Steve Jordan's, guys that, they did their thing. Because once again, a tight end is different than a wide receiver. Tight end's a guy that has to put his nose in that play every so often, where a wide receiver, one hit down there will probably be done for the season. Yeah,
another guy, a great tight end sticks out in my mind, Christian, number 46 for the Raiders. This guy.
Oh yeah, Todd Christian.
Christian. He was man. Stud. He was more of a receiver in a tight end body.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was. I watched some film on him. Remember Dave Casper?
Yeah, Dave Casper.
He played for the Raiders, right?
I mean,
did he play for the Raiders?
Who, Dave Casper?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was another stud. Like I said, there were some great tight ends that played this game that revolutionized the position, and the position continues to change and evolve. But the one concept that will always remain for a true tight end is every so often they have to put their nose in that dirt, their hand in that dirt, and go in there and block one of them big dudes, or at least get in their way so run back and run. Wide receivers will never do that. That's the difference between tight ends and wide receivers.
That's right. Now, I'm asking you this question here. I want to do this for my own personal. When I left Tampa, I ended up going to the Green Bay Packers, and I got an opportunity to be with Reggie White. And so, unfortunately, Buddy Ryan tried to get me and Ray tried to draft me, so we would be on the same end. When he played one side end, play another side end. Man, what was it like going against a Reggie White?
Well, I tell people all the time, they always ask me, if you ask me who the toughest player I ever went up against, it was Reggie White. That dude was a stud.
Yeah.
And I was watching TV a few months ago, maybe about a month or so ago, and I saw they were doing a little thing about him, and they were showing all the guys that he put that club on.
I know.
Now, I didn't end up in that film, thank God, because he clubbed me. He knocked me down a few times.
Yeah.
And I saw him club and knock down 320-pound guys. So I didn't stand a chance.
I know
that dude was special.
Man,
he was special.
To line up beside him and play like him, man, it's remember like an Eric Swan type of guy. Eric Swan had the ability like that as well, but Reggie White, he just mastered what he did, and he was so great at it.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Swan was good.
Yeah.
But Eric Swan was, but there was only one Reggie White.
Only one Reggie White.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's only
like Michael Jordan, there's only one Reggie White.
He
made the whole team better.
Yeah, there's lots of guys that were good players. But Reggie, it was Reggie White and then everybody else.
Yeah,
you know
Jerome Brown. Yeah, you're right. Self Joyner, Clyde Simmons.
Yeah.
And I played with Clyde Self in Arizona, man. It was a pleasure playing with those guys as well. Hey, I got a question I need to ask you, brother. You have a traveling company that you hook people up with, guys from the NFL or something of that nature?
I'm glad you asked that, man. I work with a company called Executive Global Travels, my buddy J.P. Cohn. I've been working with him literally for probably 22 years. And when I say this guy takes care of us, he takes us all over the world. We're actually doing an event. We're going to Ireland next year for the Notre Dame versus Navy game, which is just another one of the events he puts on. We're constantly doing things. You know, as a player, remember, as former players, man, we love to travel. I mean, that's just in our DNA. And so, you know, and traveling, of course, is not cheap. And the best part about it is lots of these things that we put on or he puts on, travel is taken care of for the player and for their spouse or wife or whoever it is for free. So definitely let everyone know to reach out to J.P. Cohn with Executive Global Travel. He's out of New York City, and he's got things going on all the time for former players, current players, just travel in general. If you want to go somewhere, he'll put a trip together for you, discount it like crazy, and find a way if you can go and play golf. It might even be for free. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I'm going to check into that, man. I'm going to check into that.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'll plug his number for you if you want his number.
Yeah.
His number is 646-756-0795. That's his direct cell number. J.P. Cohn, John Cohn, great friend of mine. Like I said, I've been doing travel with him since probably 1995.
Wow.
So we're talking about, and he's my guy. He's been taking care of me, and he's been taking care of a bunch of other guys, too, just guys just don't know. And if you give him a call.
We will. We want to thank Irv Smith, the fabulous tight end for 3 pro football teams, first-round draft pick, for joining his friend, Keith McCants. Barry Edwards, you're here at Now. Thank you very much, Irv, and we will be back on Monday at 1 o'clock. Good day and good news.
Great talk, guys.